Disclaimer, this video may contain errors in the information that it presents, and the facts may not be 100% accurate. However, if I made a mistake, please post a comment in the comment section below or send me a private message. Without further ado,
it's a Dota Weekly Show!
Yay!
Hey guys, you're watching the Dota Weekly Show, your source of news, tips, and whatever else that interests me. I am Luminous, your host for the Dota Weekly Show, and without further ado, let's get on with the news. The International has been announced. Last time we talked about it somewhere in late August. This time we know it is going to be in August 31st till September 2nd. The date has been confirmed, and the venue has been confirmed as well. It is going to be in Seattle, Washington's Benaroya Hall. Am I saying that correctly? I think I am. Benaroya Hall, if you guys don't know, is a music concert hall. It's usually for classical music performance or for other type of performance out there. And when I saw the pictures and when I read that, I was giddy, because I'm not sure if you guys know, I'm a big classical music fan. I love to listen to classical music, and the thought of casting Dota 2 in a classical music hall, that's out of this world. Now I am a little bit concerned, because like, if you see the pictures, it is like a legitimate classical music hall. How are they going to make it like an esport place, is what I'm thinking. But this is Valve. They have figured stuff out in the past, and I'm looking forward to what they'll be doing. The venue is great, the date is great. Also, it's going to be the same weekend as PAX, so if you're there for PAX, you're there for the International too as well. So that's big stuff. That's big stuff. Again, going to be from the August 31st to September 2nd. So if you guys are booking your flights and hotels, do that right now, guys. What also happened last weekend as well as today is that Valve has sent out a couple invitations to a couple teams, inviting them to the International too. First up was Navi, and obviously, I mean, they're only the winner of the first International, so they were invited, not a surprise. We had Absolute Legend and Orange being invited over the weekends. Not a surprise either, because they are a very, very stable team, been performing fairly well in the last couple of months. And two powerhouses from the Southern East Asian scene has been invited. Just today, we had Invictus Gaming being invited from China, as well as Team Complexity from the United States as well. So, a lot of teams are being invited. 6 slots of the 16 slots are taken up, so only 10 teams are left. And you guys are saying, where are all the European teams? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, where are the European teams? And then I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, let's look at VP. No, they are a new team, so gotta take a while to kind of decide if they're invited. MTW, looking pretty good. CLG, looking pretty good, although CLG lately has been using a stand, and instead of playing Loda, they've been using Misery, so they haven't been really playing a full team of 5. They have a new squad, or a new roster at the very least. M5 recently replaced Inmate with Amir, well-known player, but then that's a new roster, so that's not a stable roster. Malsport, they had Black as a new addition. DD, they replaced Link with Playmate. We have a lot of European teams that are out there and that are good, but they don't have a stable roster, which is one of the things that Valve is looking for. So sure, there's 10 slots left, but I'm not sure how many European teams are going to be invited. We know EHome's going to be invited for sure. I mean, they only took number 2, and even though there's some drama issues going on, I'll move on to that section for a bit later on. But even though there's some drama going on, they are still EHome, and they are going to be invited because they are EHome. There's some good Southern East Asian teams, Myth Trust, MUFC. Hey, Zenith, that took number 3 from last year. How many slots are left for European? I don't know, but it's going to be tough, and I feel for the guys out there for Valve that has to make these kind of decisions, because all these teams looks really good, but there's only 16 slots, so hey, if your team's out there, good luck. Good luck to you guys. Over this past weekend, Blizzard and Valve has reached an agreement over the argument they had about who gets to use the term Dota. Now, if you guys might know, Blizzard is trying to lay claim on the term Dota because Dota came out of the Warcraft 3 engine, or in fact, it came out of the original Brood War engine. So, that's their case, whereas, the Valve's case is we have Ice Frog, etc., etc. But at the end of the debate is that both companies came to agreement. Blizzard's going to be using the term All-Star, so when their Dota map is coming out, it's going to call Blizzard All-Star. And when Dota is coming out for Valve, it's called Dota 2. So that is going to be the settlement for the argument. And personally, I'm glad, because I'm a big fan of Blizzard. I'm a big fan of Valve. I'm glad that they have reached an agreement without filing big lawsuits, without big money and big drama being thrown around. So happy fanboy over here. Also, the Star Series Season 2 has been announced, and a couple of international invitees are in the tournament. Na'Vi being one of them, Absolute Legend being one of them, and of course there's other teams that are gonna be invited eventually that are also participating in the Star Series season number 2. I don't think I've seen a exact date or a time frame of when the Star Series will start to finish, but I imagine it will be something from like mid-May till like July, something around that time frame. If it is that time frame, then that's going to be serving as a really strong practice ground for these international invitees. I mean, are you going to make it to the LAN environment? And if you are in the LAN environment, how are you going to, perform? Because as you guys know, the international number 2 is a LAN environment, so that is a totally different game when that's going to be the case. I'm pumped up to bring you guys more casts from that as well. Also pumped up to see how these teams going to be doing. So Star Series 2 will be in your monitors very soon. And yes, let's go back to the Chinese scene real fast. The EHome drama has been solved. Tongfu and EHome, if you guys follow from the last episode of the Weekly Show, they had that big drama going on, but EHome has paid 50,000 RMB to Tongfu for the transfer payment or as an apology fee, something like that. 50,000 RMB roughly translate to about $8,000, so some big funds there. And also EHome and Lamn both have to write a letter of apology, which sounds a little bit silly, but I guess it makes sense. They are going to be writing a letter of apology to Tongfu for the economic damage they've been doing, for the reputational damage. All the damage is going to be paid again in 50,000 RMB, as well as the letter of apology. So with the EHome drama being solved up, I do expect EHome to start practicing really hard for the international too. They haven't been invited yet, but in my opinion, they're pretty much locked. Again, because they are EHome. They came in second last time. So hopefully they're going to be practicing really hard, and hopefully we're not going to hear any more drama coming out of the Chinese scene. I know you guys like drama, but I mean, I just want them to play good Dota. Also in the Chinese scene, right after DK got the first invite to the international too, a lot of movements were happening in the Chinese scene, not like player to roster movement, but the corporations and the rosters are trying to get themselves more involved in the Dota 2 scene. Particularly WE and Invictus Gaming, they are replacing a couple of teams in the Gigabyte Dota's Master. They replaced MSI and GOG respectively. And if you guys don't know what the Gigabyte Dota Master is, basically a big Dota 2 tournament held over in Asia. There's a lot of good Southern East Asian teams, as well as a lot of good Chinese teams. So WE and IG, they're looking towards those international spots, and they want the invite, and IG got it. So IG, very happy for them. And WE, perhaps LGD, and a couple of Chinese teams are looking for the slot as well. The slots are tight. There's only 10 left, and not many European teams are invited, like I said, but the Chinese teams are coming there to take a couple of those slots as well. It's gonna be rough in this coming couple of weeks as Valve decides to release more and more invites to the international too, and of course I will bring you guys more updates as those invites go out. Alright, let's move back to the European scene and the North American scene real fast. SGC just picked up Team Epidemic. If you guys don't know what Team Epidemic is, they're kind of a tier 2, looking to become a tier 1 Dota 2 team, and I've seen pretty good performance from them. They are actually capable of taking down some tier 1 teams. So I'm very happy that they got the sponsorship. Also back in North American scene, Quantic, the sponsor, has picked up ex.Gosu. ex.Gosu, the American team. They are actually tearing people apart in this past week or so. So I'm as an American fan, I'm hoping that they're going to do very well. And American Dota, again, shaping up. Hopefully people are going to be practicing very hard. Hopefully the drama / controversy is not going to set them back. And again, with the new sponsor, generally teams are going to be practicing really hard and performing very well. And that's exactly what the new Quantic roster is going to be doing. So congratulations to both SGC and Quantic for acquiring sponsorships. And lastly, I mentioned it earlier, M5, they replaced Inmate with Amir. I'm not too sure why. Inmate was doing very well on the team, but they said they want Amir. Okay, yeah, Amir, if you guys don't know, is a really old school player from the original Virtus Pro. And also going back to the Pinoy scene, Mineski's Jules has left. Jules is kind of like the iconic player because, you know, he plays a solo mid, he plays a carry role, and he has left. He has went to a different team. I'm kind of sad because I am a Mineski fanboy. Doesn't seem like it, but I am a Mineski fanboy. Big fan of their playstyle. Good luck to Jules as he is hopefully doing very well in his new team. Right, so that's it for the news. Let's move on to the tips section. Now, normally this would be the mechanics section, as I mentioned from the last week's Dota Weekly Show. I won't be doing the mechanics section for the Dota Weekly Show anymore, but if I actually came across the research, if I have done it for another purpose, then I'll be like, yeah, I'll release the mechanics for a separate video or something like that. So no more DWS on a weekly basis for the mechanics portion, but I feel kind of bad leaving a big gap over here because, you know, mechanics used to be a big portion of the DWS. So I was like, you know what, I'll add something in return. I'll add the tip section. It's not going to be as meaty as the mech section, but what it's going to be is basically some cool tricks that you could apply to your everyday Dota games and some cool tricks that will make your Dota game better. So I think that was a pretty cool section. So for this week's tips is regarding Sandking. Now, anyone that is really good with Sandking will agree with this, and I'm going to quote the best, Mania. He's going to agree with this. Whenever you're burrow striking, generally you should be using the ground targeting. Of course, you could target an enemy hero and get a for sure stun, but when you're targeting the ground, you could most likely get a 2-man stun as well. And when you're ground targeting, when you're stunning an enemy hero, if you could help it, try to stun behind them. And what big difference does it make? Well, it makes a couple of big difference. First of all, when you're stunning behind them and when they try to run, you know, you're body blocking them in a sense. So you get a couple of chance to get an extra 1 or 2 hits in, which make or break a gank sometimes. So you stun behind them, and then they turn around, run, and then you hit and block, hit and block, hit and block. They will eventually run away, but you're getting those 1 and 2 extra hits in, and again, that makes a big difference in a fight. Also, sometimes if you burrow strike in and try to cast your epicenter right after the burrow strike, sometimes you're gonna get stunned. For example, if you're doing this against a Dragon Knight, if you stun before him and then you cast your epicenter, he's gonna Dragon Tail you, and that's it. But if you stun behind him and you cast the epicenter, in the time that he turns around and Dragon Tails you, you have gotten off your epicenter. So it makes a difference. Trust me on this. So whenever you're playing Sandking, try to target the ground and try to target behind the hero and get the stun off. You get more kills. Cool. So that, again, that's kind of be the tip section. Sometimes, for example, for a week I might do 2 tips. Sometimes I'll do 1. Let me know what you guys think about the tip section, and then yeah. Alright, so we're pretty much done with Dota news and Dota tips and Dota related stuff. If you guys are not a big fan of anything else, see ya. Thanks for watching. But if you are, gonna relax. This is really good, by the way. Won't low cut. Even if you're not Asian, just go in the Asian market and get some. It's really good. Also, I heard it's like pretty healthy. I don't know, but I just like drinking it. So, Alright, so this is oh god. Oh, I'm gonna cut this out. Or maybe it's like a little bit more hilarious if I leave it in. This is where part of the show, like, it just disintegrates in, you know, production quality as I spilled all over my table. Anyways, so what happened last week, or this weekend, Purge Gamer has released a new video regarding on how to go from an average Joe to a full-fledged esport caster that makes and pays your own bill. You know, sometimes I get people PMing, he's like, oh, I want to start casting, but how do I start? Well, maybe Purge's video is a good place to check it out. So he talked about, you know, he referred to his own personal history. It's like how he started, the hard work he put in, what programs he used. Basically, if you want to start casting, go to Purge Gamer's channel and check that video out. It's definitely very inspirational for someone that probably that are thinking about casting but haven't really taken the first step yet. That video is going to help you take the first step. So definitely go over there to check that out. So next up, Spiral Cats. Yes, Spiral Cats. Spiral Cats is a professional cosplay group. So Luminous, what the hell is cosplay? Well, cosplay is a activity where you dress up as your favorite anime character or as your favorite game character, and you should see it in a lot of conventions. Like if you go to anime conventions, you see a lot. I'm sure you guys seen on the internet people dressing up as an anime girl or whatever else. If you still don't know what cosplay is, if you just Google cosplay, you'll see what cosplay is, and you'll see pictures and whatnot. So the reason I want to bring up Spiral Cats is because they are a professional cosplay team. That's like a little bit oxymoronic. Yeah, is that a term? Yeah, that's a term. That's a little bit oxymoronic because cosplay is kind of like a amateur hobby where you make your own clothes, and then you go to a convention and show them off. So it's not supposed to be professional, but these girls have done it professionally, and I think that's just awesome. Here's a picture of their K-On cosplay. Here's another picture of their Inori cosplay from Guilty Crown. And it's just really, really high quality. Now, how does this relate to Dota? Like I said, it doesn't. It does relate to League of Legends now. I don't want to turn this to a League of Legends and Dota 2 debate. This is not what it's about. As a fan of gaming in general, as a fan of anime in general, it is awesome to see people that are putting so much time into something that they enjoy doing and making a job out of it. That's kind of like what Dota casting is for me. So when I saw these really high quality cosplay for League of Legends as well as for other anime, that's awesome for me. So I think this is Ori. I actually have really, really OP heroes from what I heard. OP champions, sorry. From what I heard from League of Legends, and Katarina. High quality cosplay, that's all I'm saying. And maybe in the international too, we'll see some people cosplaying Windrunner. Crystal Maiden, yeah. It is right next to PAX, right? So, you know what? I'm gonna bring a camera just in case. That makes me sound pretty creepy. But no, I'm definitely really happy that there are people out there that are, again, taking a lot of, putting their own hobby and taking it to the next level. I really respect that, and when I saw this, it brought a smile to my face. So that's Spiralcat. And for the last thing, for the interesting happening of the week, is Hyouka. Hyouka is an anime that I'm currently following, and I'm loving it. Now, last time when I recommended anime, Mirai Nikki was the anime recommended, and I know that one was a hit with a lot of you guys. This anime probably not going to be a hit with most of you guys, because this anime is about mystery, is in a school setting, very little action, a lot of talking. So you Naruto fans out there, you One Piece fans out there, you won't be liking this one. So now with that said, I'm a big fan of mystery anime. I'm a big fan of school setting, especially when romance involved. I'm also loving Kyoto Animation's animation is really, really top notch. Also, they play classical music in this piece, like all the time. They play classical music in every episode, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of classical music, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, it's the anime that I'm looking forward to most every week, and I'm following it very closely. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely go check it out. And that's it for this week's Dota Weekly Show. Let me know what you guys think about the controversies, about the teams being invited. Which team do you think is going to get the invite next? Are the European teams in trouble? Let me know what do you think about the Spiralcast. Hey, what do you think about the tip section? I want to know about that. And yeah, let me know if you guys want to watch Hyouka and whatnot. And that's going to do it for this week's Dota Weekly Show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I am Luminous, and as always, we're signing off to you guys.